The smallest country in the world, Vatican City, is situated on the west bank of the Tiber River. Here lies the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church, one of the largest and wealthiest organizations in the world. With over 5 million tourists a year, and only about 800 permanent residents, the country is like no other. Since 313 AD, when the Catholic Church became the official religion of the Roman Empire, the power of the Church has constantly expanded. Given the peculiarity of this country, you might wonder how its economy functions, and how it might compare to other countries. However, the Vatican's economy is filled with secrets, conspiracies, and scandals, leaving the truth behind the country hard to uncover. But guess what? We will try to find out how rich the Vatican is? And also, where do they spend all of this money? Hello and welcome back to our channel Soman Business. Before going further in this video, hit the subscribe button for more fascinating videos. So let's get started. It is hard to find the exact numbers regarding the finances of the Vatican, but there are multiple reports that shine a light on the possible economics behind the Holy See, the governing body of the country. To start, the Holy See generates revenue through something called Peter's pence. Since the 8th century, this has been the term used to describe the money received from donations by Catholics around the world, given to the Pope on an annual basis. The country also collects revenue through admissions to its museums, tours, highly sought-after stamps and coins, and the sale of publications. Lastly, the Holy See also invests in companies and artifacts, hoping they appreciate in value. The coins mentioned above that are highly valued by collectors are minted within the walls of the city and are supposed to be financially equivalent to the euro. However, very few are made, causing collectors around the world to buy these coins imprinted with current and former popes for significantly more than they are supposed to be worth. The history behind these coins is unique, as they were made due to the fact that the Vatican was not allowed to join the European Union, and thus could not use the euro as a form of currency. The main reason for their denial into the EU was because of their form of government. The EU requires all countries entering this pact to be democracies, but the Vatican is ruled by a monarchy, with the Pope acting as the king. The Catholic Church is estimated to be worth about $30 billion. Along with this, the Central Intelligence Agency's World Factbook estimates the city had revenues of $315 million and expenditures of $348 million in 2013. However, after 2013, the Holy See has experienced a deficit estimated to be upwards of $30 million. This was primarily due to the decreasing price of gold, a valuable and largely held asset of the Catholic Church, not only in the form of gold bars but also in the massive amounts of precious metals that can be found in artifacts and buildings owned by the Church. The Vatican has large investments with the Rothschilds of Britain, France and America, with the Hambros Bank, with the Credit Suisse in London and Zurich. In the United States it has large investments with the Morgan Bank, the Chase Manhattan Bank, the First National Bank of New York, the Bankers Trust Company, and others. The Vatican has billions of shares in the most powerful international corporations such as Gulf Oil, Shell, General Motors, Bethlehem Steel, General Electric, International Business Machines, TWA, etc. Given the Vatican's mass investments in artifacts, gold, and its dependence on tourism, the Vatican's economy is extremely volatile. During the COVID-19 pandemic, tourism around the world was put on hold. With ticket sales down 75% last year, the Vatican lost an estimated $100 million. This forced pay cuts of 10% for cardinals, priests, and nuns working for the Holy See, and exposed the vulnerability of their economy. The Vatican pales in comparison to practically every other country when looking at purely GDP. Although the Holy See's nominal GDP is not published, the per capita GDP of the Vatican is estimated to be $21,198, making Vatican City the 18th wealthiest nation in the world per capita. This is primarily due to the low population, with each person living in the Vatican being employed by the Holy See itself, avoiding national poverty altogether. Now here is the second question. Where do they spend all of this money? With the election of Pope Francis in 2013, the secrets of the Vatican are slowly being unveiled as he strives for public transparency to try and put the many scandals surrounding the Church to ease. Through the years, people have accused the Church of shady monetary practices, such as high-ranking Italian officials and wealthy figures, or even mobsters, using the Catholic Church's bank to avoid taxes. However, Pope Francis is determined to break away from the scandals of the past. His first step was appointing Australian Cardinal George Pell, who is determined to stop the laundering of money through the Church and use their wealth to help in charitable ways. When Catholics donate their hard-earned money to the Church, they are hoping that it will go to a good cause. The Vatican hopes to use the money gained from these donations and its other business ventures to help the poor, provide medical aid to those in need through their many hospitals, and continue to spread their religion to more and more people around the world. This, in turn, will expand the wealth and power of the Church, the Vatican, and the Pope himself, and ensure that the Church remains a powerhouse for centuries to come. Although the secrets of this country are being slowly revealed, countless questions still remain unanswered, such as where does all of this money go? Who actually is benefiting from these donations? There are no details available at all about the charity that Vatican do with donations. We have seen some breathtaking financial scandals related to Vatican, but none of has been properly addressed by Church. Suspicions of money laundering have been rife at the Vatican Bank for some years. It has always been a natural choice for criminals wanting to hide covert funds, not least because it processes an extraordinary amount of cash from donations. But after September 11th, governments across the globe began to crack down on financial security over concerns that laundered or illegitimate funds were being used to bankroll terrorist operations. The Bank of Italy launched an investigation into the Vatican's finances in 2010 and found that the city-state was moving billions of euros between global commercial banks every year. In 2012, JP Morgan forced the IOR to close its account with the US bank after it was found to have moved 1.5 billion euros through that singular account in just 18 months. In July the same year, the Council of Europe's Anti-Money Laundering Council found that the IOR was non-compliant on 7 of its 16 core standards. The Vatican never complied with the Bank of Italy's investigation, so the source of much of the cash has never been revealed. When Pope Francis began his tenure in 2013, he brought in financial consultants to clean up the Vatican Bank, and in 2015, the IOR signed a landmark treaty with Italian regulators that committed it to total financial transparency. Given its special relationship with Rome, the Vatican has historically enjoyed a number of financial perks from the Italian authorities. These include a municipal tax break for all non-commercial properties that contain a chapel. Between 2006 and 2011, the Vatican used this loophole to avoid about 4 billion euros of tax on hundreds of properties in Rome, some up to 10,000 SQM, which it justified by including a 3-square-meter chapel. In November 2018, the European Court of Justice ruled that this practice was illegal and ordered the Vatican to pay back a whopping 4 billion euros in post-dated tax. Many have argued that this figure barely touched the sides of what was owed and have called for the period dating back to 1992 to be taken into account, which would drive the overall bill to over 13 billion euros. Well, that's all we have for today. Tell us your thoughts about this topic in the comments below. Also, suggest us topic for our next video. And don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.